Happy February! I'm in such a good mood right now, if you can't tell. Our wedding invitations just came in and they look so good. So good. I'm so excited. And it's the little things. Today I was writing in my notebook and I was looking for my purple pen and I just found it, setting you up. And my wedding invitations look great. Just so excited. Anyway, like I said, it is February. Today's February 2nd. Today we're going to be doing our January reading wrap-up and our February TBR. This is the first one of these videos that I am recording. I wasn't planning on keeping it in one video. I was going to do one video for January reading wrap-up, one video for February TBR, but alas, we ran out of time because I was busy posting other things. So we're going to just put them in this one video right now, and then we'll play it by ear and see what next month holds when it comes to whether or not they'll be in the same video or separate videos. But let's just jump into it, shall we? So I did, I don't know why, January wasn't the best reading month, wasn't the worst. It was pretty average for me, I feel like, but it was kind of the month of reading series, or like pieces of series. So I'm not going to be able to read you thorough synopses for the specific books that I read, but if it is one in a series that it matters, like the previous books matter in the series, I'll read you the synopsis of the first book. That's how we're going to do this. So, I'm also a little warm at the moment, but the fan remote's all the way over there, so we're just going to deal. Okay. You see I opened my Goodreads and I'm like, oh, this cover's pretty, and this is why my TBR is as long as it is, but look how pretty. So anyway, let's jump into it. Also, a feature that I really need to turn off is anything that I do on my Kindle app, I have to kind of end that connection between Kindle and Goodreads because it said I finished The Nightingale, and I don't even know why, because I didn't, but I guess it's because I returned the library book. It just assumed I finished, and I didn't finish The Nightingale this month. I'm planning on finishing it. Oh, spoiler alert! Hang on. Okay, so I read 12 books in the month of January. And I've already finished a book in February, but again, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. The first book that I read this year was Heat of the Everflame by Penn Cole, which is the third book in the Kindred's Curse saga. I'm sorry I'm looking everywhere but at you. I have my phone, which I'm on Goodreads, and I have my notebook, which I wrote my wrap-up in. So, Heat of the Everflame, I gave 4 stars. It was very long, I will say that. So, in my review I wrote, when I was in it, but when I wasn't, I was dragging myself through it. I'll just read you my review, I guess, as long as there's no spoilers. I definitely feel that this could have been 2 separate books, so it was a little more digestible in length, but it was still a good time. The end was the most emotional I've been in the series so far, because blank 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 blank. I still stand by not understanding why people are so infuriated by Diem. Yes, she does make some annoying decisions or comments, but she really doesn't bother me at all. I will say the spice isn't really my favorite, which makes me happy that it took so long to start. Any theories that I've had thus far have been incorrect, which if anybody's surprised by, then they don't know my track record. Okay, that's all spoilers. Anywho, I highlighted a lot of Luther's lines and overall had a great time. I'll definitely read the next one when it comes out, but I'm not quite chomping at the bit in the meantime, if that makes sense. So, that was my review. 4 stars. And now I'll read you the synopsis of the first book in the series, so you can see if you would be interested or not. When old secrets catch fire, everything will burn. In a mortal world colonized by the gods and ruled over by the Descended, their cruel offspring, Diem Bellator, yearns to escape the insular life of her poor village. Her mother's sudden disappearance and the discovery of a dangerous secret about her past offer Diem an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of Descended royalty and unlock the web of mysteries her mother left behind. With the dying king's handsome, mysterious heir watching her every move, and a ruthless mortal alliance recruiting her to join the growing civil war, Diem will have to navigate the unwritten rules of love, power, and politics in order to save her family and all of mortal kind. I feel like that tells you nothing. But I'm enjoying the series. So, and I did quite a bit of highlighting. Not in the first book. The first book I only have 3 highlights, but the second book I have 41, and the third book I have 34. So I thought it was going to be even more in the third book. But that was my first read of the year, and I'm pretty happy with it. I decided to start the Kindred's Curse saga really late in December, and I was just binging them. Let's see, what are the dates read? I started the first book December 29th, finished it December 30th, and then the second book I'm assuming I started the 30th, finished the 31st. Yep. And then book 3 I started the 31st, but I finished it on the 7th because I again was dragging myself through it when I wasn't super in it. Okay, so that was book 1. Book 2, Change of Heart by Bailey Hannah. This is also the third book in a series, coincidentally, but it is an interconnected standalone series, so it doesn't really matter. This book I gave a 3.5 star. I loved the last book, the fourth book. I don't know why I went out of order, it just happened. But I'll read you the synopsis for this one. Okay, I'll read you my review first, because I'm trying to get better about writing my reviews. 3.5 stars. This book was a little too spice heavy for me. There were some nose-tingling moments for me for sure, but they were kind of few and far between. Denver was really sweet and I had no issues with him or Blair. Obviously the reason they didn't talk for years wasn't my favorite, but they were so young and you can't expect them to handle the situation perfectly. I do love a second chance romance, as we well know. Blair comes back to town and into Denver's life after 14 years, and they inevitably fall back into each other and navigate through tension and heartache of how things left off. But there really isn't much conflict here. It's primarily smooth sailing and spice. I don't know if that was a spoiler. We might cut that out. Anywho, I'll read you the synopsis after I probably just spoiled the whole book, but it's a romance. I mean, we know what's going to happen. In this spicy romance from the author of Alive and Wells and Seeing Red, a jaded woman reluctantly returns to her hometown and to the cowboy who broke her heart and drove her away. She spent years trying to forget. He'll do anything to make her remember. Wells Canyon is the last place Blair Hart wants to be. Yet when her mother falls ill, she has no choice except to return to the hometown she's avoided for over a decade. In a town so small, she knows there's no way she can avoid the cowboy who tore her life to pieces all those years ago. But that doesn't mean she's prepared for the way Denver Wells can turn back time with a single smile. Since Denver's world came crashing down 13 years ago, he's somehow managed to keep his demons at bay. That is, until Blair Hart's return knocks him from his saddle. But if he wants her back, he'll have to prove he can be the man that she needs, the same one she used to love. Throwing herself into the role of caregiver, Blair doesn't have the time to sift through their messy history even if she wanted to. And Denver's going to need a lot more than his usual cowboy charm to convince Blair he's worth a change of heart. It was fine. It was good. 3.5. Next we have In Your Dreams by Sarah Adams, which was another 3.5 star, which I was kind of sad about. It's the fourth book in the When in Rome series, and it just came out on, I believe, December 30th. This is another series of interconnected standalones, so again, it doesn't matter the reading order. I did read these in order this time, but I will read you the synopsis. So my review is really short and sweet for this one. It's just James is a sweet baby and Madison is a messy, realistically flawed FMC, but this was overall a sweet conclusion to the Rome, Kentucky series. Which, that's not what it's called, but it is based in Rome, Kentucky. Okay, synopsis. This is a long-ass synopsis! A homecoming to Rome, Kentucky sparks a new romance and lots of drama between two old family friends. Madison Walker left Rome, Kentucky determined to prove she could make it in the culinary world, but after years of chasing success in New York, all she has to show for it is shattered confidence and a desperate need for a fresh start. Coming home isn't a part of her plan until an unexpected job offer lands in her lap, giving her a chance to rebuild everything she's lost. The head chef position at a new farm-to-table restaurant in her hometown. The only catch, it comes from James Huxley, owner of Huxley Farm, her brother's best friend, and the last person she wants to work for. James has always played it safe, keeping his head down and doing what's expected of him in the family business and never contemplating anything different until now when Madison's happiness is on the line. He's loved her quietly for years, knowing she's never seen him as more than an annoyance. Now that she's back, he's determined to change that, even if it means he can only ever be her friend. The one problem? His charming, wildly successful younger brother Tommy seems determined to win her over first. Then Tommy is called away on business and Madison and James are tasked with launching the dreamy farm-to-table restaurant on their own. But as the town starts meddling in their relationship, Tommy's pursuit of Madison grows more relentless, and Madison's fears threaten to hold her back. Keeping things strictly professional becomes impossible. And when an unexpected disaster on opening night collides with a long-simmering sibling feud, I don't know if I said that right the first time, Both Madison and James will have to face their biggest insecurities and decide if love is worth the risk or if some dreams are safer left untouched. And when an unexpected disaster on opening night collides with a long-simmering sibling feud, both Madison and James will have to face their biggest insecurities and decide if love is worth the risk or if some dreams are safer left untouched. When I'm reading a synopsis or something, I don't really hear anything that I'm saying. All the words sound wrong. I don't know what's wrong with me. Again, 3.5 stars for In Your Dreams by Sarah Adams. Next, we're moving on to a bunch of novellas that are actually going to be in a vlog that comes out on Valentine's Day. So I'm not going to go deep into them. I'm not going to read you the synopsis or anything. I do talk about them in the vlog, obviously. So I'm just going to read you the title, the author, and my rating. And maybe I'll read you my review, too. We'll see how I feel. The first one is Accidentally Yours by Christina Lauren. This one I gave a 4.5 star. This was absolutely precious. Jude and Veronica were adorable. I have no complaints or notes aside from one small thing, which I think might have been an inconsistency during editing or revisions, but overall I love this. Great start to the series. I don't remember what said inconsistency was. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay. So, actually, I'll have to mention it again. I definitely mentioned it in the Valentine's Day video, but you'll have to watch that video and let me know if you picked up on the same inconsistency if you read it. Next, we have Time Will Tell by Hannah Bonham Young. This one I also gave 4.5 stars. I love this story in that it wasn't something I've read a million times before. Callum and Georgia found each other after Georgia's grandmother passed away and left instructions for Georgia to dig up a box of memories that she buried years ago with the love of her life, who happened to be Callum's grandmother. Even an ocean between the two couldn't keep them from falling in love, and I ate it up. When they actually meet, I was dying. Okay, next is Second Act Romance by Julie Soto. This one was a 4-star. Bex and CJ's story was very cute and sweet. I definitely felt the anxiety and the panic of the situation that they found themselves in. Yes, I do. I had to think about it for a second, but yes, I remember that. A Play for Love by Trilina Pucci. Pretty sure I went to say, like, Pookie or something like that every time I said her name in the Valentine's Day video. So you have that to look forward to. This one was another 4.5 star. I think this was absolutely precious. In real life, it might be a little restraining, ordery, but in fiction, it's so cute. Oliver and Rory are comic cross lovers. I'm definitely going to look into Trilina's other books, which I have not done yet, but I will come back to them. Let's see, do I know any of her books? Tangled in Tinsel I've heard of. I think that's the only one of her books that I've heard of. So we're going to have to look into that. Anyway, moving on to Death to Valentine's Day by Catherine Cowles. This one I rated a 3.5 star. This was sweet, but I really wasn't invested like I was for the other stories. I did like the suspense aspect that Catherine Cowles always incorporates. I'd love to see more of Decker and Maya. I think I was missing depth. Missing depth is like a big thing for me, but again, it's a novella, so I mean, how much can you really blame her, you know? Then, last but not least of the novellas, we have Valentine's Sleigh by Nevessa Allen. I low-key hate the title, but it's okay. Noah and Emmy's story was not your typical. I enjoyed the suspense, but the spice lost me. I remember it was so spicy, and I was so not in the mood for that. Because the other ones, I was like giggling, kicking my feet, having a great time. And then this one's just like smut, and I was like, huh? And I know it's Nevessa Allen, like she tends to be spicier, but at the same time, like, read the room. It's not her fault. That's just how, that's her writing. That's how she is. That's, you know, her thing. But it was not for me. And I fear that a lot of her books may not be for me or will not be for me. But I love Lights Out so much. Okay, moving on, we have Bluebird Gold by Devney Perry, which is the first book in her new Lost Legends series. And I loved it. I ate it up. I gave it a 4-star on Goodreads. I didn't give it a specific rating, I don't think. I'm hoping I say their names right. It's been a little bit. Ilsa and Kasi had chemistry that I automatically, that I actually felt. My favorite parts of this book were the mystery / suspense and Spencer. This book, this is a good Devney book. I was actually a fan of this one. I will read you the synopsis actually, before I forget. From #1 New York Times bestselling author Devney Perry comes a gripping romance set in 1983 where a woman's search for the truth about her father's death entangles her with the small-town sheriff and a legend of lost Montana gold. Living in Dalton, Montana was not what I had planned for this winter, but after my father's sudden death, I uprooted my life to move into his tiny lakeside cabin and settle his estate. My friends tell me to sell his place and move on, but this winter is my chance to say goodbye, to remember a man who'd love the tales of Montana lore. Taking a temporary teaching job seemed like the perfect way to keep myself busy on lonely days. Cleaning out the cabin should have been simple, except the more I learned about my father's life, the more questions I have about his death. The last thing I need is a crush on Sheriff Cassie Rains. Not only is his son my student, but his life is rooted in Montana, while mine is headed anywhere else. Yet as I uncover a trail of strange clues Dad left behind about a lost legend of Montana gold, staying away from Cassie is not an option. Neither is denying the attraction between us, and my winter of healing becomes a race for answers. I came to Montana to bury the past. Now I'm falling for the man who might just be my future. And either I'll solve this mystery, or the person in Dalton determined to hide the truth will make sure I die trying. I really liked it. Anyway, moving on, we have 2 more that I really can't talk too much about. So next we have Glow by Raven Kennedy, which is the 4th book in the Belated Prisoner series. And I gave that one a 4-star rating, and the entire review is 4 stars. I love Slade, that's all. The next and last book that I read in January was the 5th book in the Belated Prisoner series. I had trouble getting that out. Gold, also by Raven Kennedy, obviously. This one I gave a 3.75 star, and I said I'm enjoying the multiple storylines, but I also just miss my sweet, sweet Slade. Because I'm a Slade girl. And now I'm on the 6th book currently in February, but it's just not hitting the same. I think the 4th book was the peak of the series for me. But alas, I'm not going to read you any of the synopses for the 4th and 5th books because that would be a spoiler, so we're just going to read you the first one. Okay. The Fae abandoned the... Okay, let's start over. The Fae abandoned this world to us, and the ones with power rule. Gold. Gold floors, gold walls, gold furniture, gold clothes. In Highbelt, in the castle built in the frozen mountains, everything is made of gold. Even me. King Midas rescued me, dug me out of the slums, and placed me on a pedestal. I'm called his precious, his favored. I'm the woman he gold touched to show everyone that I belong to him, to show how powerful he is. He gave me protection and I gave him my heart. And even though I don't leave the confines of the palace, I'm safe. Until war comes to the kingdom and a deal is struck. Suddenly my trust is broken, my love is challenged, and I realize that everything I thought I knew about Midas might be wrong. Because these bars I'm kept in, no matter how gilded, are still just a cage. But the monsters on the other side might make me wish I'd never left. The myth of King Midas reimagined. This compelling adult fantasy series is as addictive as it is unexpected. With romance, intrigue, and danger, the gilded world of Aurea will grip you from the very first page. I didn't realize how many of my friends actually read this book. Or this series, rather. But the first book I gave a 3.5 star. The second book I gave a 4 star, I think. I didn't write any review. The third book I gave also 4 stars, and look at this. I'm just a girl. Okay, anyway, those are the 12 books that I read in January. And now we're going to get to yapping about February, because we also have a TBR. So, TBRs from my history don't typically go too well, but we're going to try. I think it's relatively realistic. So I did have Wild Side by Elsie Silver on my TBR. I finished it yesterday, so I'm not even going to mention it here. But, again, spoiler alert for the February wrap-up. I did finish Wild Side. I have things to say, but we'll save it for the next video. Anyway, the first book on the February TBR is Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. I've heard such good things about this book, and I feel like I'm missing out, not knowing why everybody's ranting and raving about it. So, that's here. Next we have Goldfinch by Raven Kennedy. Let's see how far I am right now. I'm about 50%, I think. So this is definitely going to happen, but I'm starting to drag. I'm 49% through Goldfinch at the moment. which is the 6th and final book in the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy, as I just mentioned. But I'm really, it's starting to get a little like, let's wrap it up. So I want to do a reading vlog of rereading people we meet on vacation, and then I'm going to see Kayla this weekend and go see her on Friday. And we're planning on watching the movie together, so I want to kind of do like a reread vlog with, like, at the end I'll be watching it with Kayla. We'll both come and yap to you about it. So that's just an idea. Don't know if it's going to happen, but it's an idea. Then we have Power Play by Chelsea Curto. I don't know. But that's the second book in the DC Stars series. Kayla and I read the first one in December. Had a great time. I really do want to read this one, but I'm like so scatterbrained right now and like a little all over the place. So it'll happen. We'll get there. But I can't read it without her. So we need to like just sit down and actually read. Then we have The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I do have it physically. It's over on my cart. This is another one that Kayla really wants me to read. And I want my heart broken. And I don't know why, but something about there being snow outside just screams, read the book. I don't know why. But instead I decided to finish Wildside after I started it in September. Then we have Voracious by Lee Rivers, which is the second book in the Edge of Darkness trilogy. I did start this one. I've mentioned it a whole bunch of times on this channel. I just need to sit down and actually read it. Eyeball reading takes longer for me because I need to like, I love audiobooks because I can do a million different things while I'm listening and, you know, living the story, but I could be cleaning my house, doing the dishes, doing the laundry, whatever. Speaking of laundry, my washing machine is giving me issues and I'm not happy about it. But that's Stefan's problem for tomorrow. Anyway, so eyeball reading does take me longer. Most of these are eyeball reads, so don't know how that's gonna go. But that's it for the books that I've picked. I'm trying to keep it on the more realistic side, and then we're gonna pull one from my TBR jar. We're not gonna pull one from my physical TBR jar because Voracious is like a physical read with my eyeballs. Nightingale I have physically, and People We Meet on Vacation I have physically as a reread. So I'm just gonna try to like give myself a little bit of a break. So we're just gonna pull from the TBR prompt jar at the moment. So let's do that. Let's get my little TBR box, rather. I feel like I've been talking at a million miles a minute, and I feel like it's just because I keep tripping over my own tongue. So I apologize if you feel that I have been flying through everything. I don't know which side the words are on. Okay. An author you've never read before. Okay. I've read Rebecca Ross, I've read Raven Kennedy, I've read Emily Henry. Okay, I've read all of those. So none of the ones that are on my TBR already are going to count for that. So let's take a look at my Goodreads. Let me pull up my phone again. This one I'm just going to put back in the box because this is one that can be reused and reused and reused. Oh, okay, this one's easy. So I do have books checked out on my Libby, and one of them is on my 26 and 2026 list, which is I Medusa by Ayanna Gray, and I've never read anything by her, so add I Medusa to the TBR. That was easy. So our last book on the February TBR is going to be I Medusa by Ayanna Gray, and then we're just going to drop her back in there. I do have to write that down before I forget though, because I also have to return that book in 5 days, so I will likely be reading it before I even go to see Kayla. But anyway, that's it for today's video. Just real quick, it was just the January reading wrap up and the February TBR, and I don't really have anything else to say. But I think I'm gonna hit the couch and go watch some Supernatural now, because I'm back on my kick. So okay, that's it. I love you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.